Hi guys, here we are. This is Bashak, yoga therapist and teacher and an engineer. Welcome.
Hi, guys. This is Kate. And we is a podcast about learning, awakening, and empowerment, where spirituality and wisdom guide you to live with clarity, purpose, and inner strength. Welcome. Hello.
Hey,
Hi,
so
everyone.
we are in an exciting new episode with an exciting, fabulous guest. And why don't you do us the honor, Kate?
Yes, so my dear, dear friend Dena Hammerstein is joining us today. Dena, please turn on your camera to join us. And I'm going to read a little bit about you. If you click on there. Yes, there you
Yay,
are. Welcome.
welcome.
So, Dena Hammerstein, originally from London, has had a long and varied career as an actor on stage, TV, and film, and as a playwright and a producer. In 1999, she founded a charity in New York City called Only Make Believe, which takes interactive theater to children in hospitals and care facilities. Welcome, Dena.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Dina, you have a very interesting life, and I know that we are not going to be able to fit it in only 30 minutes episode, but I'd love to hear about when did you first start this idea of volunteering, and then it ended up becoming an only make believe.
Well, I started volunteering, I guess it was during the AIDS crisis. A very close friend of mine had died. I guess he was really the first real friend I had in America, other than my husband. And so obviously it was deeply upsetting. And I obviously, as a result, gave money, went on marches, blah, blah, blah. And then I was rung up by the development director from GMHC, Gay Men's Health Crisis, and he said, "Do you want to see where your money goes?" And I said, "Sure." So he gave me a tour of the building, and one of the rooms was set aside for children, and it was a playroom because either they were sick or one of their family members, etc. And immediately I entered the room, and there were all these children of various ages. And I thought, well, I could volunteer here, no problem. So that's how it started. And it became something that I really, really enjoyed doing and learned to love the kids. And we went on various sponsored, trips, etc., etc. And then one of the staff members recommended I also volunteer somewhere else, which was the Rusk Institute. And the children there were there because of really reasons for surgery or long time, or had real physical disabilities, which actually I'd never come across before. Mm-hmm. And so I had sort of merrily said, "Oh, sure, I'll do it." And when I got to the ward, actually, I was kind of taken aback at how seriously ill these children were. But I said I would do it, and I'm a woman of my word in that way.
You are.
So I started there and became very, very committed and attached. And we sponsored children to take them to sort of various events, including the theatre. And because of my contacts, when I took them to see Beauty and the Beast, the actress playing Belle came up to meet all the children. And when we got back to the unit, this little girl in a wheelchair was going into her ward saying, I met Belle. And I realized then, well, why not bring the theatre to them? Because, midday in Midtown and hot summer afternoon, and there's all these people around, the kids, I think, would have been quite happy just going around the car park just to get out. But
yeah. So you had all these kids in their wheelchairs and all that kind of, and you're trying to get them from the bus into the theater, and it was
Yeah,
all this
yeah.
thing. So you're like, why don't we just bring the theater
To
to,
them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Uh,
So go
Beautiful.
ahead.
that
No, I
gave
was just, yeah, I was curious, of course, your background is theater. So
yeah.
how you really merge these two worlds together so well, and it's just so touching that this all came from a loss. Do you think that this loss that you've experienced, if there wasn't this loss, maybe you would never start something like this?
I, it's hard to know,
Mm,
actually. But I do know that I also lost my husband, as you know.
yeah.
Um, and I was left feeling obviously a sense of mortality, and that what can I do with the time left so it has an impact and it doesn't go to waste. And because of my love for children and the way that they reacted to the theatre, that's how Only Make Believe came about.
Beautiful.
And
Wow.
the program itself, did you pull on things from your background as an actress to
Absolutely.
create? Yeah.
Yeah. In England, before you become a full member of Equity, you are kind of like I guess, like a learner driver. And they sent you on school tours, and four of us in a sort of minivan going around the country, going to various schools in the morning and afternoon and doing adaptations of fairy tales, etc. And the children would always say at the end of a session, "When will you be back?"
Hmm. Yeah.
And I realized that whatever program I wanted to start, I wanted to be able to sustain, to return and to return, so that the children would have a sense that you were part of their community and they were part of your community.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
That's
So
beautiful. So loss, often dismantles the identity we thought we were. Who were you before the loss?
who was I before the loss? Well, I was a writer, an actress, a wife, a mother. Uh, I guess my main focus at that time before the loss was writing plays.
And amazing that you translated all of that into service.
Uh, it didn't feel like a service.
Ah, yes.
I,
And why?
I mean, I had found volunteering something that was so gratifying that you think you're doing it for others, but actually the person that gains is yourself. And you find a community with the children and with the staff that is so different from like producing, where it's all about making money or a name or a.
Yeah.
These people are all working for a mission to help kids.
Yeah. And I just have to throw in not a disclaimer, but a claimer that I worked at Only Make Believe for many years. And Dina was my boss and now my friend. But I always remember after we'd have a hard, long day of work, she would say, but now you can go home and you can feel good because you've made some kids laugh. And she was right. I mean, the simple thing of making kids happy and just showing up for them was huge. So I just have to thank you for that, Dina.
Yeah, helping others heals us too, right?
Yes.
Well, thank you, Kate, because you were an absolute key part of Only Make Believe. You helped me write the scripts. You let me go off the ledge. You made.
I pulled you off the ledge. We're back inside. Most of the time. Most of the time. So
Well,
can we just switch, sort of delve into a little bit because our podcast here talks a lot about yoga. And so, yes. So I just wanted to bring in that side of your story because you didn't start your yoga practice, or you got involved in yoga after Jamie died. Is that correct?
Yes,
That's,
actually, I'd done all the volunteering and everything before. Um, I was introduced by a friend who took me on holiday after Jamie died, and there was a yoga class that was available. And he said, "Let's do it." And I tried it, and I was useless, but I felt there was something to be gained. And where I lived then in New York, around the corner was a place that was called the Soho Sanctuary, which was just for women, and it was massage yoga, etc., etc. And so I started a yoga class there with a teacher named Jessica, who is still my teacher today, 26 years later. And what I learned from her originally was how to breathe,
Mm.
because all the breath was in there and none of it could come out. So I think I probably spent the first few sessions doing nothing but sobbing. And I actually asked Jessica, because I still see her regularly, when did I start actually doing yoga? And she said, well, you were doing it, you know, even through this sobbing or whatever, we were still actually doing some yoga.
yeah.
And what amazes me 26 years later is I'm still learning things, and that you don't stop learning doing it, which is pretty bloody extraordinary.
Yes, breath is a stabilizing force during chaos, right? So that's the entryway to releasing all the emotions. It's so beautiful, really lovely.
Mm.
Um, so breath was the main thing. And then, in what ways do you think yoga helped you navigate loss, stress, uncertainty around that time?
I'm not sure if I can put it into words. Um, I think just getting in touch with one's body and being able to be flexible, um,
Mm.
maybe it helped the mind be more flexible. I knew that I'd never forget Jamie, obviously, but he's very much part of it.
Yeah. And now you have
Another form,
developed.
yeah, another energy changing, right? Yeah, from physical to more of an astral energy. The body is still here, the thoughts, the memories. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Because now your practice has become more a meditation practice, or both. More, you didn't do so much meditation before, is that correct? And now you do more?
Well, now I do it daily.
Yeah.
Mm.
Uh, how that came about was also through some kind of accident or loss where I was actually kind of physically not able to move very much. And my son suggested I try meditation. And you know what happens when your children tell you something? You don't want to do it.
No,
Yes. Resistance.
vice versa.
But anyway, as I was sort of stuck in a chair, and he brought this young woman that he'd met, and she started to give me some ideas about meditation. But I actually call it worrying with my eyes shut, which has become the phrase that I tell people what I do. But actually, I find now I don't want a teacher. I don't want any noise. I just want the sound of the, what's that, drum? The,
Yes, you
Yeah,
have like
energy.
a,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
Mm.
like that to begin and end with. And then I have obviously certain techniques, some of which have been taught to me by Miss Kate, and others I've invented for me myself. And
Yeah.
and I find actually I need to do it in the morning, that it just kind of brings me into the day in a calmer, kinder, grateful, and
Mm.
content way.
Yeah, it's been
Wow.
huge. It's been huge.
Yeah. In yoga philosophy, suffering, dukkha, can become a doorway to awakening. And it seems like, you know, you are so blessed with the pain. Sometimes it seems like in the covering of pain and suffering, illnesses or what have you, that actually propelled you towards finding this incredible philosophy of meditation. So, isn't that amazing? Like disguises under this seem like a painful situation that becomes actually doorway to something greater. Beautiful.
You know, it's your own life, so you don't see it in those kind of terms. It's just like stages one seems to go through. But I guess what also has been helpful about meditation and yoga is it kind of has diminished anger,
Mm.
Yes.
because I know that I was, ambitious and angry, and a lot of that had to do with sort of one's personality, and it was not necessarily a detriment, but it's exhausting being angry.
It is exhausting.
So kind of giving up on that has been really,
Yeah. To find the ease, to ease into life, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
just accept it.
Accept it. Yeah.
completely.
To
Yeah.
witness it and accept it. Beautiful. Yeah.
Now, I was just wondering if someone were to, I'm sort of jumping back a little bit to only make believe and the nonprofit. If someone came up to you today and said, "I want to start a nonprofit," is there some kernel of advice or something that you would tell them before that you maybe you wish you knew before you started only make believe?
Well, it was a different time. So there was far less red tape than there is now. In as much as when I volunteered, I could take children out in the wheelchair out of the hospital, nobody would say a word, or I'd take groups of kids from GMHC to see a parade. It was like there wasn't the restrictions and difficulties that I'm sure exist now.
Yeah.
And when I started Only Make Believe at the Rusk Institute, I obviously had a relationship with them there. And though it was just an idea, they allowed me to do kind of a pilot of a kind of TV show to see what worked and what didn't. So it evolved kind of naturally as a
As a
program.
program. Yeah.
But in terms of getting all the sort of paperwork and legal work and I'd leave that to Kate.
To me.
But we got a board together, and obviously the board had different and useful skills,
Mhm.
including setting us up to be a sort of legal charity. And you have to, I think, exist for about 5 years before you can actually prove you're a not-for-profit.
Right.
So uh, I couldn't have done it without help,
Yeah.
is what I would also say. Starting a charity, you can't do it without help. And to be perfectly honest, because of the fortune of having some really successful, famous friends, they were very helpful to be able to announce what I'm doing, or support the mission, or attend the galas, or become, part of the organization. And so whether Only Make Believe would still be existing all these 27, however many years later,
Yeah.
I have to say it was fortunate that I had the contacts that I did.
And
But you
that,
were also so influential and inspiring to those who wanted to be part of whatever you were doing.
Yeah. And you had such a, I think also is this, I think maybe your famous friends who are actors, performers, realized that you had great respect for actors themselves, because the thing we used to always say is that we pay the actors. It wasn't a volunteer for the actors. So we were respecting those actors' skill and time and generosity to be part of Only Make Believe. And
Yeah.
but that's a very important thing.
Yeah.
One also, the thing about it is we wanted them to show up.
Yes, true.
And volunteering, if you couldn't make it that day, you couldn't make it that day. Well, that's not good enough if you're going to be performing a little show for children. You can't have an actor suddenly say, well, I got an audition.
Right.
So it was very important that they are treated with the respect that they deserve. And the children love them.
The children love them, still love them.
Of course, I can
Yeah.
only imagine what a gift to give it to a child and, have them really dwell in their creativity. And yeah, it's just incredible, incredible cause and incredibly way that's executed.
But also, what I did enjoy is seeing how the children themselves became a community too. They would support each other, laugh with each other, join in, that they also became, so a new member of the ward would suddenly feel that they were part of it too. So that was,
Yeah, and then they'd have a shared experience
yeah,
that they could talk about other than their illness or And also we would try to involve the doctors and nurses if they were there and staff. And that was very important to
Yes.
you, I know, Dina, right?
yeah, and they came to all our events and galas, and they were, all the people who work there are there for the right reasons. So, and especially after 9/11, when we were still allowed access into the hospitals, you would see just as many staff members outside looking in, seeing the children laughing.
Mm.
And it really meant something for the staff too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's interesting how you start with one idea and how it spreads, It reaches you focus on the children, but it has these ripple effect of affecting the entire community, and that's brilliant.
And a lot of people would probably want to leave a legacy. And what a great way to leave a legacy that is ongoing, even when you are not in this world anymore.
You haven't thought of that? No.
No way. Sorry. But
Um, I
there are,
just I just feel like as I'm listening to, how sometimes the greatest purposes don't come from your plans, our plans. It comes from what life brings and what life opens just through your connections and how you were introduced to certain situations, may it to be a volunteering or may it to be a meditation, how it just makes such an impact. So we are never alone, right?
we are always alone and never alone.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yeah. Um, so do you feel as if that I mean, I guess we kind of sort of touched on this, but that if you look at your life today, would you say that this grief that you went through or these difficult things transformed you completely or just sort of tweaked you? Like, do you feel very different sort of before these losses than after, or do you see how would you think about that?
I think I probably would see a big difference, yes.
Really? Okay. And how does that difference manifest, or how do you feel that?
I think it's made me grateful for what I have, actually, and grateful for what I had, which is still with me in my heart.
Yeah, yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah.
And for people who might be dealing or coping with a loss of a partner or someone they loved, what would you want them to hear?
Well, funnily enough, I could tell you what they don't want to hear.
Oh, Yes, that first. Let's do that first.
No, no, I'm not going to go into
Oh, you're not
detail.
going to do that? Okay. All right.
But
No.
in terms of, I would say it always helps if they talk about the person that you've lost in a loving and generous way. You can tell very clearly, or well, to me, it seemed very clear whose love was genuine, what was prurient, what was about themselves, or it becomes very clear who really cares.
Yeah.
Uh, for me, it did anyway.
Or you think about your heart being sort of broken open, and so you therefore then have a clearer channel to understand and feel people's energy, I'm sure. So that's where you could discern whether someone felt more genuine than someone else. You know how that your heart just gets a bit ripped.
Is it? I don't know what it is, but there is a kind of gut or perception of you. You just sense it.
Yeah, shared energy because you've been there, you've experienced it, so you can recognize in others as
Yeah,
well, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what we talk about a lot in teaching too, right, Kate? Like you can only teach what you've experienced. You can't just be a mouthpiece for some other person's experience. So you need to practice it, you need to feel it, and then you teach from an experience. So that's exactly, I think, similar that whatever you experience, you can relate to others from. Yeah. That's so beautiful. I mean, there's so much more probably we can talk about, and it's just really touched me that how grief, heartbreak, or uncertainty can become such a place of service. You don't call it service, you call it probably your mission more than a service. um, Such a healing and such a creativity. What a creative idea to, first of all, I've never heard something like this, right? Probably most people never heard something. What a genius idea to bring your world in this such a meaningful way. Because you could have totally chose, oh, now maybe I'll go back to stage, or maybe, da da da. But it wasn't about you. You didn't make it about you. Your whole life kind of, transformed into being there for others. I mean, it is just very inspiring. Thank you, Dina, for all of that, and thank you for sharing with us.
Can I
Thank
just ask one more question? Do we have time? Just because I'd love for people to hear last thing I know about if you could, because your childhood was very specific, and how did that inform how you set up this charity for the kids, you know?
Well, I was brought up in an orphanage
Mhm.
till I was 11.
Oh,
So I guess I automatically felt an outsider. So volunteering made me feel I belonged, and especially with children.
Children, you connect with those kids.
Yeah, very much so.
well, that was an important part that I'm glad you asked the question, Kate.
I
And
know.
there's so much more to talk about,
I know. I
but
know.
maybe for another time.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, and I'll
Thank
see
you,
you
Dina.
soon. Take
Okay.
care.
Yeah,
Thank you very
oh,
much.
I didn't tell you this. We're going to dance out. We have a
Yes.
little music and we're going to dance. Okay, here we
You're
go.
going to dance. I'm going to watch you dance, Kate.
Start. You dance in your chair.
The chair dance.
The chair
A new
dance.
one.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, that I can do.
See? I knew you could do it.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We are
Thank
here
you.
next time.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.